And as I said, I promised you this week that I'd get Sally Street on air. Welcome to the microphone, Sally. What's been happening in your life?
Well, I'm gearing up with my band to go to Morocco.
All right.
So we're going to Tangier in the first week of Morocco. And I haven't performed. There's a big festival there in Tangier called the Tanjaz Festival. And they source acts from all over the world. And the last time I performed there was in 2009. So they've asked me to come back. But last time I was there, I performed with a French band from Marseille.
Right.
But they said, next time you come back, we'll let you bring your whole band over. So they've paid for my whole band.
Fantastic. And since I've seen you, apart from that, what's been, how did the ukulele thing go?
Oh, I've been rocking that ukulele. I've got 2 ukuleles now. I want to buy a U-bass, which is a ukulele crossed with a electric bass.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that. That's my next instrument.
And where have you been performing lately around at the clubs and the places?
I've been performing. I was doing Castle Hill. I've been doing Castle Hill for 7.5 years, but I've just stopped doing Castle Hill just to spread my wings a little bit further. Just the usual club scene, around Sydney.
And tell the people out there a little bit about yourself. How you started?
Me. Oh, I started when I was 4 playing the piano. I play 5 instruments. I used to teach piano and singing. I don't teach very much anymore. I just focus. I write music, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've performed all over the world. And I'm passionate. I live, breathe, eat, sleep, music. Crazy person.
And I believe you've got a couple of new tracks out.
I brought 3 new tracks for you.
Right. Why don't we try playing number 1 for me? Tell me about number 1.
Which is number 1? Can you see loaded? I didn't even know what. I just quickly burned them before I flew out the door. Put them on a rack. We'll just randomly play one. I don't know. Well, let's just play it and see which one it turns up, and I'll tell you about it after it starts to play.
When you go to bed,
oh, this one.
will you think of
Which one is
Called
it?
Fight For Me.
Will I be the girl
There's a story here.
This is Sally Street. New music coming your way. SWR FM 99.9.
and daydreaming stars? Will I be the girl who holds your heart when you're feeling lost, alone and down? Will I be the girl to take you on the town when you need a smile and your world's in half? Will I be the girl who makes you laugh? I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. There's so much that we could be, it's all I ever wanted. I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. And when it all goes wrong, everything's gone tragic, will I be the girl who brings you magic when you hold a seashell up close to your ear? Will I be the girl whose heart you hear when you send a wish to the sky above? Will I be the girl who lights your love? I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. There's so much that we could be, it's all I ever wanted. I want you to fight for me, it's all I ever wanted. I want you to fight, I want you to fight, I want you to fight for me. I want you to fight, I want you to fight, I want you to fight for me.
SWR FM 99.9, one great hit after another. And Sally Street is back on air. How are you, Sally?
Good, thank you.
Now, tell me a little bit about this EP that you brought in tonight.
Well, that track there was born one night when I was sitting in my lounge room and I was watching a movie, and a little boy in the movie said, you know that movie Real Steel?
Yes, I do.
And the little boy, the father says, something to the little boy. He's like, that's right. What do you want from me? And the little boy says, I want you to fight for me. It's all I ever wanted. And he runs off in a little tantrum. And I was sitting just stunned on the couch thinking, that would be such a great chorus. So so I sat down and wrote that song within about half an hour.
And I gather you love writing music.
I write music all the time. Yeah, I do. I really love music.
And you've had some successes overseas. So tell us a bit about those.
So I've had actually lots of awards for songwriting competitions overseas. The USA songwriting competition, various international songwriting awards for lots of my songs. That's all on my website, which is actually down at the moment. I discovered the other day the hosting company changed and they didn't even notify me, pulled my website down. I hope it's still there, my website somewhere floating around in cyberspace, so I don't have to redo it. But anyway, yes, it's been, and also Australian Songwriting Awards. It's very encouraging when you trump up awards, especially international songwriting competitions. It keeps you going and makes you think.
Pretty amazing when you've got an Australian an Australian writer gaining some success overseas, because I tell you what, it's hard over there.
Yeah, it's so competitive, but it's very competitive here too as well. In fact, sometimes I wonder whether it's worse here because there's so few venues to play. Yeah, especially original music.
But do you know that it never ceases to amaze me that so many of our artists over here have to go overseas to make it big. It doesn't say much for Australia.
No.
When, there's so many great talents and then they end up going overseas. Like, I think in fairness, we can say that about Sophie. She's gone overseas and she's done big things over there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's a pity, isn't it? Because we've got so many talented people here.
True. Same happened for Kylie Minogue.
That's right. Yeah, there's so many of them, really. And, even you find over here, even with these contests they're doing, they win it, but very few of them make it big, do they? I mean, there's not many that have made it after, say, The Voice and whatever, doing big things after it,
I love The Voice.
Yeah.
I won't go on it because I refuse to sing covers.
But you know a few of the people off The Voice, don't you? Yeah. Who are the people you know?
I actually saw my guitarist backing Delta Goodrum the other night.
Oh, right.
Daniel Marr is a gorgeous guitar player. He's been playing for me over the last year or two. So I was so proud of him. He looks gorgeous too. He's got the long blonde hair and the arms. And but Steve Clisby, who
he did big things, didn't he?
He's really. I'm so proud of him. He in fact. I trained with him for about 7 years and he produced my first 2 jazz albums.
Right.
So I adore him. He's a very, very close friend. He's full of lots of hilarious stories. His mum just died recently, actually. I think she was 103. Steve, same. He looks 30 and, he's so seasoned. He's
fantastic voice.
He's amazing
unbelievable voice.
So many harmonics in his voice. He always says you have to suffer pain to sing the blues. It's one of his.
It actually reminds me of Joe Cocker. I always say with Joe Cocker, he used to bleed when he sings. I mean, like the guy, whatever he did in his life and how many drugs he took, doesn't really matter because the guy was brilliant. I always seem to remember that statement that someone said years and years ago. That's Mr. Joe Cocker. He bleeds when he sings, and exactly what he did.
It's true. Actually, for 7 weeks I performed at the Venetian Casino in Macau.
Yep.
And I remember after the second or third week, I started to really get homesick because I was performing at midnight till 3 a.m. in the morning. It's fun for a couple of weeks, but when you perform in a place like that, although the hotel was amazing, underneath that hotel there is like a McDonald's, a KFC, and there's people asleep in the corridors. The
Wow.
Chinese live underneath these hotels, and they have no home, and they just work. And there's prostitution under there, and it's all sorts of stuff you see backstage that you no idea when you go and visit Macau or Vegas what goes on underneath places like that. And I had so left with stars in my eyes that I was going to go and do, all these glamorous shows, which they did look like when you're in the casino, but it was a 15-minute walk under a car park in the hot heat, so my makeup would melt before I even get backstage, and all these people are sleeping in the corridors, and all these poor little girls that have been brought off from boats from Malaysia or wherever. It was just, it was depressing. And then I was asleep all day because I was up performing all night. I'd finish my show at 3, I'd get to bed 4:35, end up having to drink a glass of red wine so I could get to sleep in the end, and just living like a vampire pretty much. I looked sick by the time I finished. But
they were saying that when you brought up Las Vegas, I remember an interviewer saying about the king, the late and great king, when he was doing Las Vegas, he didn't really know anything except the International Hotel.
Yeah.
He lived, breathed.
Can't open the windows.
Couldn't go out.
Same menu every night.
And he was there doing all those shows and millions of people over all those time.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, they just said that he just lived and breathed the place. He didn't know anything else other than the International Hotel.
It's like gross. And until you do it, you don't realise. I can understand how he ended up. I have actually, I had a brother who died of a heroin overdose. So I have never in my life taken drugs because I'm so afraid that I'd like them. But I can see as a musician having lived through that, how you could end up like that, because you're on such a high from coming back from a show. And then when you've got to back up again the next night, and the next night you're doing it 6-7 nights a week. I was only doing 6 nights a week. You need to go to sleep in order to have the energy to put on a great show the next night. So you can see how they get into sleeping pill cycles of, oh my God, I've got to sleep during the day so I can get through and start another show at midnight the next night. And that's what it was like. But I remember I point to the story. I called up Steve Quisby on the phone going, oh my God, I don't think I can handle this anymore. It's so not what I thought it was going to be. And Steve's like, it's all right, Sally. You've got to go through this to be able to. You've got to earn your dues to sing the blues. Like,
that's right. Because I think he's 70, isn't he?
Something like that.
So he's earned his dues.
He lived a really hard life too. He performed all over the world. He's amazing. He had a really bad cocaine habit.
All right. Yeah.
And he drinks lemonade. He doesn't smoke. He's the most clean living person, but he almost died. But he believes, he used to tour with Hot Chocolate. Yeah. He's backed all sorts of Shaka Khan, like all over Holland. He lived for years touring around Europe with those bands, but just got into a really bad scene. But he's a testament to his own strength and. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's just so hard, doing exactly what you like to do, but there's so many people doing it,
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. Now, what do you think about the jazz scene at the moment? I mean,
What jazz scene?
There you go. I thought I'd let you tell me.
That's why I'm going to Morocco to perform. Actually, funny, when I was performing in Morocco last time, I was performing jazz covers in my own style, but this time I'm very excited to go back because I write my own music now and I don't play covers anymore. Right. So it's even more special for me to take music that's homegrown, home-written in Australia with a homegrown Australian band and take it to Morocco and show them. I believe they haven't had an Australian act there in Morocco, in Tangier at that festival since I was there last time. So.
And what about the rest of the world? Is America big on, it's pretty big on jazz. I mean, it's like country, isn't it? It's very, very popular.
Yeah. I have my sax player for years, Adrian Cunningham. I don't know if you know, he was amazing jazz saxophonist and he plays clarinet, flute, piano, and he writes. And he was actually, going as well as you could go here for a musician. He was backing Marsha Hines and but still finding it, it's tough. And he went to New York, hasn't looked back, was planning to go for 3 years. It's just, I don't think he'll ever come back. He comes back a couple of times a year.
And what about yourself?
Holiday.
What do you think?
I would so love to go and do that. I really, really would. I have a freight company here. I can't leave. But I need to stick my neck out and just get my head out of the freight and I think venture overseas more and take my band overseas more than I have been. So, yeah, that's just, I should stop making excuses.
Yeah, I think it's time to play a bit more music.
I agree.
This is track number 2. This is Sally Street coming at you. SWR FM 99.9, 7:31, top hits, classic dance tracks. And as I said to you, Sally's going to be on air live tonight. And here she is with us tonight, SWR FM.
Got nothing, I got nothing to lose. All we got is this moment, so let's kick off our shoes. I wanna kiss you all over, from your head to your toes. Let's start this party and dance away all of our clothes. Hey, blue jeans, baby, with your blue jeans smile.
Friends, 'cause you're making me nervous, and I know how it is. So come and quit your talking, I want you more than you know. So be my blue jeans, baby, 'cause I don't want you to go. Hey, blue jeans, baby, with your blue jeans smile. Oh, blue jeans, baby,
SWR FM 99.9, Blue Jeans Baby there. That is Sally Street. Welcome back to the microphone, Sally.
Thank you, Dom.
So you're looking forward to this trip overseas?
I am looking forward to this trip overseas. I was just thinking about when you were playing that track. I wrote that song when I knew to play my first 4 chords that I learned on the guitar, and I had the guitar. I was just thinking about whether I should take this guitar to Morocco. It's a pain when you're traveling, having to lug all the instruments with you, keyboards and ukuleles and guitars, and anyway. But yes, I was standing in the kitchen cooking some Maggi noodles.
Yeah, and you've indulged yourself with a little bit of TV too.
With TV?
Yeah, and TV. You did a couple of TV ads, and you've also and you've done a bit of acting, haven't you?
Well, I actually got a call today to do a acting.
Not another nude cake.
Not a nude cake. No, I actually turned it down because I have to work, but I haven't done anything. That nude cake. That was so embarrassing. they came up to me and they said, would you like some, what do they call them? Modesty patches, they called them.
Right.
And I was thinking, oh, great, fantastic. So that, because you could only see my back when I did that ad. But they came out and they were like these tiny little Band-Aids the size of 50-cent coins that were round, and they popped them on my, I shouldn't say it.
On those little bits.
On my little bits. And I thought, great. I almost felt worse. They were the most immodest patches I'd ever seen. That cake was wooden. You can't tell in the ad.
No, because you were
cake.
back to the cake. You were back forward to them, but back to the camera, weren't you?
It was an actual problem. They actually made that cake for someone 5 foot and I'm 5'10", and so I had to squat for 45 minutes and go up and down in that cake, and my legs were shaking in the end because I couldn't stand up because obviously I had no clothes on and there was 50 people in the studio shooting this thing, so I had to stay. Well, I wanted to stay squatting because I was shy.
And I think you were the hostess in the model ad, weren't you?
I was.
Murdoch?
Yeah. How beautiful is she? I was.
Yeah. And what about you did the Smith Chris too?
Wow, you've got a good
Yeah,
memory
I
with
remember
Stephen
these.
Curry.
Yeah. Did you got to meet him?
Yes, yeah, he's gorgeous.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. They took like 3 hours to put my makeup on that day.
And you said you've just had a phone call for something else.
Yeah, I turned it down. I have to work tomorrow. It's a bummer. Pays better than doing ads.
Now, I was going to say to you, as far as music goes, the music scene. What do you think about the music scene at the moment?
I got really sad about a year ago because I had been doing lots and lots of gigs down at Blue Beat. You know, jazz. It was a jazz and pop rock club in Double Bay because the basement had sort of got a bit strange, and I thought, and Chris Richards, who owned the basement, opened. Well, it was the licensee for the Blue Beat, and obviously it's near where I live, and I thought it would be a really brilliant, which I did, and everyone, we all put our heart and soul into getting that club going and creating a live music scene that really encouraged original music. And it was so sad when it closed down.
And then along came the lockouts.
And Chris Richards was also brokenhearted because they reopened it up. It's called Casablanca now. It's got a DJ, and he loves live music, and it did his head in. He said he could get, the best acts here, or even a massive international artist come out from overseas, and he'd be lucky to have 50, 100 people in the club. And he said now he's got a DJ there playing just house music, just one person in the corner. He's 700 people in there every Friday, every Saturday night. He doesn't have to do any advertising. It's just the nature of people, what they want. They'd rather go and listen to a DJ.
Well, the
than
lockout's
see a band.
certainly taken a toll, hasn't it, in all those areas?
Oh my God! My friend actually, there's a guy who owns a club that he opened up. It's called New Hampton. I've done some gigs there, and he used to be the trumpet player in the Enormous Horns. Do you remember that band?
Sure do. Played with them, DJ'd again for him.
So Kieran Coleman is one of the partners. Kieran's, I don't think he plays in the horns anymore, but he had a dream his whole life to open up his own amazing bar, restaurant, and support live music. And then he bought the club with his partner before they imposed the new lockout laws, and they poured millions into this amazing refurbishment, and it's just 10 people in there on a Friday night. It is
what a
just
pity.
He's lost so much money, and they're barely able to keep it open, but it's just, the cross is dead. Yeah.
It's a pity, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, they just go somewhere else. And that's what the big thing is at the moment, isn't it? That they've moved over to Newdown and a few of those other places where the lockouts don't exist, and they're all moving over those areas. But it is a pity, because when you think of the cross, it's always been the cross. Everybody knows the cross. It's always been alive 24/7. I can remember when I was 16, I couldn't wait to get to the cross and be a bit naughty and all this sort of stuff. And
Me too.
It's just, it's an icon. I mean, and it's virtually dead now. I mean, I won't say the cops got their way and things like that, but the thing is, the lockouts are certainly hurt.
Yeah. I used to play piano room. That used to be fun for bands, and they just couldn't
some of the
sustain
best
it.
acts were over there. You know, like we used to
Yeah.
love it. You know, just go there, and some of the best acts were over in the Cross, and you'd be there all night listening. It was fantastic.
My dad used to play in the Cross.
Oh,
All
right.
those
So he
years
was a
back.
musician
he
too.
was a jazz. He used to play with Bob Barner and the Harbour City Jazz Band. And he's retired now. His hands are really crippled from all the
Right.
bass playing. But I don't know. If you go to Spain, people actually go out for dinner at 10. Like that's when you leave.
Well, when I did my European trip, which was about a year and a half ago, and we were in Paris at the time, right, me and my wife, and I couldn't believe it because Paris didn't even start till 11 o'clock at night.
No.
Like, you know, like we go out and like the place was amazing.
Yeah.
It was like 11 came and you just went right through the night.
Yeah.
To 11 o'clock the next morning.
That's how it should be.
And, you know, I remember we were having breakfast at some ungodly time, you know, and the place was just absolutely packed. And, you know, underneath the Eiffel Tower, there's thousands of people. It just doesn't, people don't realise it. Like Europe seems to be living all day long, 24/7.
Yeah.
It never closes down.
We're suppressed. We're really, really conservative, suppressed society. It's really sad.
Oh, well, you know, there's so many things politically now that it's just pretty crazy, isn't it? You know. Anyhow, tell us about this third track, Sally.
This third track, what was? Oh, this was about sliding doors.
I do.
Just
Good show.
sometimes, yeah. Do you feel like your life sometimes a bit like that? The Truman Show. I know it sounds kooky, but that it's always almost meant to be. You're always going to meet that person. It's just a matter of time that you were. So it's that's what it's about. It's just a matter of time, that you were meant to meet someone for whatever reason. That doo-doo-doo-doo.
Now you're gonna send out a promo here. You're gonna say this is Sally Street, and go and do it. We'll play it in the next few weeks.
Okay.
This is Sally Street on 99.9.
What 99.9?
Yeah.
SWR FM, is that what you were saying?
Yeah. Let's do a promo for this track.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous.
Are you? Don't be nervous.
I'm blushing. This is Sally Street on 99.9 SWR FM.
On a pathway leading into you.
SWR FM 99.9. The time now, almost 16 to the hour of 8 o'clock, and that was Matter of Time, the latest track from Sally Street. Welcome back, Sally.
Thanks, Dom.
That was good. I love that last track.
Oh, thank you.
And,
romantic.
And are you putting that out, basically, is that being sold as a track for everybody, or are you just doing it yourself?
As in, track for everyone.
Well, you put it down, but is it one of these things that people can take off you and release it also as a song which you've written?
Yeah. I wrote this song actually with my drummer Andy Horvath, who's coming with me to Morocco, and we actually wrote it with a vision we were going to create another band outside of Sally Street.
Right.
But then I've been sitting on it for a year, and he's been touring with Adam Brand, and I just said to him the other day, we'll just release it. So I'm just releasing it under Sally Street. For the time, if we ever get this band together, I've already got an existing band that's been going for years, and it's just easier. So here it is. You're the first to hear it.
So what's Sally Street's vision for the next
with this
few years? And not just music, but your life. What do you see the next few years happening?
I'd like to do more festivals, more international festivals. So that's my plan, just to, when I come back from Morocco, work on the next load of tours for overseas. Yeah.
Good. So you're getting back into music big time.
Yeah, well, I've got this. I haven't stopped writing. So I write all the time. I have this huge catalogue of music that I have to record. But that's another thing. It's just been financially quite tricky. I recently got divorced, so I just don't have the funding that I had before, but I'm pulling myself back together. So I have all this music that I'm just busting to record. It's just a matter of funding to get in a studio. It costs a fortune to record albums.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it's not
there's
just
a lot of money,
of
money involved.
Tens and tens of thousands of dollars to release an album. Yeah, so it's. But it's good. At least it's all sitting there waiting. But it's time it all came out. I think.
You want to do a lot more live gigs now?
More live gigs internationally. Yeah, I performed a hell of a lot more a few years back when I was doing covers. There's lots and lots of work in Sydney for covers, but I'm very committed to my original music, and so there's really a few venues you can play. Basement, Vanguard in Sydney, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, and Manly Fig, I performed there to a sold-out crowd a couple of months ago, which was amazing. People in Manly and Northern Beaches really love original music.
Oh, they're into jazz.
Yeah,
they love the jazz festivals.
Yeah,
and jazz is great music.
I actually played pop pop
pop
that
jazz,
night, but sort of hybrid, Amy Winehouse kind of a vibe when I did the Manly Fig. That's a really great venue if anyone ever gets out that way.
And here's a question I want to ask you, because it's a very important question and it's a difficult question. Anybody that wants to do what you're doing, how hard is it, Sally, and how hard do they have to try?
I think if you're, as you know, you have been a DJ for practically your whole life, haven't you? Yeah. And I bet if you stopped, you'd be depressed.
Yes, I agree.
So
this is what I'm doing this for.
Yeah. And you bring so much joy to people, and it brings joy to you and joy to them, and it all goes around. And I think as much as it's competitive in radio too, but it's competitive in music. But if you've really got it in your bones and it's part of you, it doesn't matter that it's hard, because you don't really have a choice. You have to do it or you get sad.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Well, it's been great talking to you, Sally, and I want to tell you I appreciate you coming into the studios because you're a very, very busy lady.
Oh, as are you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Okay, that was Sally Street, and I'll catch up with you some other time, Sally.
Thank you, Dom.
Maybe after you come back from overseas and you're doing your thing, and anything that's new in your life and anything that's new music, please give me a ring and we'll get together again.
Thank you very much. I would love that.